Welcome to Commodities Dig. I'm Amy Hogan. Joining me today is well-known serial seller in the mining industry, David Strang, President and CEO of Lumina Copper. Welcome, David.
Thank you very much, Amy.
So, serial seller, can you expand on that?
Sure, I'll try as best I can. Serial seller, well, I work with a fantastic group of business partners led by a gentleman named Ross Beatty, who's a well-known mining entrepreneur here in Vancouver and the founder of Pan American Silver.
Right.
And I was fortunate enough to join Ross 10 years ago when he put a strategy together called the original company called Lumina Copper, where we went out and acquired 10 large undeveloped copper projects in North and South America. Essentially, we called the bottom of the copper market in the last bear cycle. And over the years, we've been developing those projects and slowly selling them off, hence the serial seller kind of terminology that you're using.
Yeah.
We've been fairly successful with that over the last 7 or 8 years. We have now sold 5 companies.
Wow.
And we're in the process of working towards hopefully exiting the last company, which coincidentally is the same name, Lumina Copper, and the Taca Taca project in Argentina.
Lumina must be a great name, but Taca Taca is even better. I love that name. So can you tell me a little bit about that project?
Absolutely. Well, Taca Taca was actually the runt of the litter.
Okay.
The reason it's last wasn't because we were keeping the best for last. We actually thought, it's a leftover project, we'll do some work on it and see what happens. So we didn't have huge expectations for the project when we first started working on it. But fortunately for us, the gods were on our side, and we were able to develop a project that is now the 36th largest copper discovery ever made.
Wow.
Very, very large project. As I said, located in Salta province in Argentina. Also got byproduct of molybdenum and gold.
Yes.
And it's just been a fantastic story over the last few years.
But Argentina, how do people react when you say that your property's in Argentina? Does that scare them away right away?
No, I think, Argentina is an interesting place.
It is.
To say the least. Wonderful place to visit, and Buenos Aires is just one of those great cities in the world.
Right.
But we're fortunate, we're in Salta province, and Salta province, of all the provinces in Argentina, is probably the most mining friendly. And one has to look at Argentina to understand the politics with regards to provinces and the federal government. A lot of mining law in Argentina is controlled by the provinces, and hence you see this disparity amongst different provinces in the country with regards to mining development. Okay. Salta is a wonderful place for development, but unfortunately at the federal level, Argentina's had some struggles over the last couple of years. And for us in particular, the nationalization of YPF, the big oil company, last year was a bit of a dent.
Right.
I think it's held off some investor confidence with regards to the country. But we are seeing light at the end of the tunnel. We have congressional elections coming up in October, and those are going to be a good barometer with regards to how we go forward in terms of Argentina and the new political federal government that will come into power.
Okay, and now because your model is to build up these assets and then sell them off, do you invest heavily in corporate social responsibility policies within the areas that you work?
It's a great question. Definitely. In the in the countries where we find that we need to do that, we have been very successful. Whether that be in Peru with Northern Peru Copper that we had there, and the social programs and the people that we worked with there, all the way through to Guatemala today, where we operate very successfully in a country that has, a lot of very, very poor rural areas. It's a cornerstone of how we operate, and you need to have a social license in the areas that you operate in the world today, particularly in these types of countries.
And you have to start early.
Correct.
You have to start early.
You have to
so
start.
If you're selling this off, they're going to hope that you did your homework.
Correct.
Yeah.
You actually you start your social program before you even turn a drill bit.
Okay, great.
So a very, very important part of the strategy.
So what's the next step for Lumina Copper? How likely is it that you're going to find a buyer in 2014, considering the deals market? I know we just completed our deals report, and globally in the first half of 2013, deal activity dropped by 31%, and values dropped by 74%.
Very much.
So it's not that the market's completely quiet, but it's definitely at a standstill, sort of.
Well, look, that's the thing, right? One of the hallmarks that we think you have to be is flexible.
Right.
and understand. We're fortunate to make the 36th largest copper discovery in history, and to be there today, to be able to sit there with it. You know, patience is important.
Okay.
This market is certainly risk off right now, and what I mean by that is greenfields acquisitions. The big mining companies are not looking towards that right now, and they're certainly looking at cleaning up balance sheets and working internally with their existing operations. But that has to change.
Yeah.
From our view, the greatest thing about the mining industry is every day that you mine, you destroy value by taking rock out the ground and producing product. That has to be replaced at some point. And as long as we're sitting there with a project like Taka Taka in Lumina, I think we're quite comfortable, albeit that we'll have to wait a while.
Do you think your buyer will come from the mid-market, or do you think it will be a senior?
I think it's going to be a senior. Just the size of the project, the amount of copper that it will produce on an annual basis, well in excess of 200,000 tons of metal per year, makes it a project that should be attractive to some of the larger buyers in the world.
Okay.
And certainly we've had most of the largest companies in the world look at the project. So everybody's had a look at it. Everybody's pressure tested our data. They're comfortable with the data, but as I said, the market conditions right now are such that it's risk off, and so we need to be patient as a management team.
What's your cash position while you're waiting for a buyer to come in? Is it strong right now?
Our cash position's strong from the standpoint, at our current burn rate, we're good till the middle of 2015.
Okay.
So we don't have any pressure on us to go out and do a transaction. And the other great thing about our company is the management, and particularly Russ in particular, have a very strong shareholding position in the company. So therefore, we are very much in control of our own destiny.
So once you take care of Lumina Copper, what's your next move in the marketplace? I know your background is definitely in the finance industry, and that's where the buying and selling comes from. So are you looking to swallow up some very interesting projects?
We always are.
Yeah.
We're always looking. The real thing about it is to try and find those nuggets. Buying projects in the mining industry is just like drilling for gold in the mining industry. Few and far between in terms of getting those nuggets, and that's what we're trying to do and continue to do, and try and find those nuggets. It's not easy, but you know, as the market continues to progress in the manner it is, so we expect opportunities to come to us.
Only in the copper space?
No, we particularly like copper and gold right now.
Right.
We have been active in nickel and in uranium as well. But you know, you always go with what you know, and the other thing about it's the best fundamentals, and we certainly think copper and gold, of all the metals, have certainly got the best fundamentals going forward.
Okay, last question for you. Where do you see the price of copper going, and where do you see the price of gold going in 2014? Up?
I think you're going to have to be a betting man.
You're gonna say up.
No, frankly, I think where copper's trading anywhere around $3.20 right now.
Yeah.
We've traded up as high as $3.50. I think where copper is today is a great price for the industry. We don't need it to go higher. Certainly once we see copper price going over $4 a pound, we start seeing some structural changes in demand for copper. So I think where we are today is a great price, and it's really, really good for most of the operators in the business. So I'm quite happy where copper is today. With regards to gold, well, you know what? If we knew that, we'd all be multi-millionaires. Again, I'm sort of sanguine to where the gold price is moving. Well, sanguine's not really the right terminology, but my view about it is at $1,300, $1,400 gold. You know, with fiscal discipline being brought back into the major gold producers, I think there's going to be significant profitability in that sector as well. So I certainly think leverage to the gold price and leverage to the copper price is looking for those producers who are going to be able to bring their operating costs down and be able to get the margins up. So it's not a great answer to your question, but I'm happy with the status quo.
It's a fair answer. It's a fair answer. David, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
I'm really excited to see what happens with Lumina Copper over the next year.
Great.
This has been the Commodities Dig. I'm Amy Hogan. Until next time.